Right now, you reach into your bag. You grab a tampon, 10 seconds, and you never think about it again for the rest of the day. It's 13:50. You just felt it start. And the only thing standing between you and a stained dress is a piece of cloth you're gonna wash out and reuse tomorrow, because it's the only one you've got. You've got a full day of work ahead of you. Sunrise to sunset. No day off, no warning to anyone, no way to just stop. So let's actually live through it, hour by hour, and see how bad it really gets. Because by the end of this, you're gonna look at a drugstore aisle completely differently. Dawn. The light comes through the gaps in the door, and that's your alarm clock. There's no snooze button. You already know before you even move. You felt it in the night. You reach under the bed for the rag pile, old linen strips, and if you were smart last month, a handful of dried moss packed in with them. And this isn't guesswork on our part. Archaeologists in Norway just excavated a medieval latrine, over 4 meters long, and found it packed with torn, folded, pleated strips of cloth. Researchers think these were exactly this, pads, held in place with belts and ribbon. You are doing, right now, exactly what women were doing in that town 600 years ago. Hour 1, quick wash in water so cold it makes your hands ache. No soap, not really, just whatever you've got. You get dressed in the one outfit you own. You fold cloth between your legs and hope it stays put. Then it's straight to prayer, straight to breakfast, some dense, gritty bread and watered ale, and straight out the door. Hour 2, you're in the field, bent over, hands in the dirt. And the pace doesn't change because you're bleeding. Historians studying medieval farm labor put the working day at sunrise to sunset for basically everyone, women included. That's not a slow news day. That's every single day during planting and harvest. There's no concept of, I need a minute. The crop doesn't wait, and neither does the Lord who owns the land you're working. Hour 3. Here's the pattern interrupt, because this is where it gets interesting. That moss you packed this morning? Not just some desperate improvisation. Sphagnum moss, the stuff growing in every wet ditch around your village, has real antiseptic qualities. It's absorbent, it resists bacteria, and people have used it for wound care for centuries. Historians used to write this off as primitive, unhygienic guesswork. Turns out the women doing it knew exactly what they were doing. We were wrong about them, not the other way around. Hour 4, midday. The cramping hits, low and sharp, and there is nothing for it. No Advil, no Midol, no heating pad against your stomach. You keep working because stopping isn't an option that exists for you. You grit your teeth, you breathe through it, and you carry the next basket anyway. Hour 5. And this is where it turns from uncomfortable to genuinely humiliating. Medieval medicine ran on a theory from the Greek physician Galen. The idea that the body is balanced between 4 humors, and blood, phlegm, and bile all have to stay in equilibrium. Under that theory, your period wasn't just biology. It was treated as something to monitor, almost like a diagnostic tool for what was wrong with you. There's an actual record of a physician named Bernard de Gordon instructing women to bring their soiled rags to him so he could inspect the color and figure out what illness was hiding in your body. Sit with that for a second. Your body, on trial, once a month, in front of a man who's never bled a day in his life. Hour 6, midday meal, if you can call it that. More bread, maybe some pottage if the family can spare it. You eat standing up or sitting on the ground because there's no break room. There's no bathroom. There's no locked door with your name on it. Whatever needs fixing about your cloth, you fix it in a hedge, out of sight, as fast as you possibly can. And then you're back at it. Hour 7. afternoon, the heaviest part of your flow, and now you're also doing water carrying, one of the jobs that consistently fell to women in this period, hauling heavy jugs back and forth from the well or the stream. Every trip is a chance for the rag to shift. Every trip is a small, private moment of panic. Hour 8. And here's the twist nobody expects. The phrase, on the rag, people today treat it like some crude modern joke, something a teenager made up. It isn't. It is a literal, accurate description of what you are wearing right now in 1350. And it's going to stay accurate for the next 600 years, all the way until someone finally invents something better. We haven't even gotten to the worst part of the day yet. Hour 9, late afternoon, and the fear that's been sitting quietly in the back of your mind all day gets louder. You've got one dress, maybe two if your family's doing well. If the rag fails now, in front of everyone, there is no hiding it. And everyone around you already believes this blood is unclean, maybe even dangerous. So you stay close to the wall on your way back from the field. You walk a little stiffer than usual. You keep your arms in a certain position, just in case. This isn't paranoia, it's just what the day requires of you. Hour 10, evening chores. And this is the one nobody puts in the highlight reel, laundry. Your rags don't disappear after use. You wash them by hand in cold water, so they're ready to go again tomorrow. And the day after that, for as long as this lasts. Historians estimate that laundry and household cleaning alone could eat up an enormous chunk of a woman's week in pre-industrial life. Your period doesn't end when the day does. It follows you straight into the wash bucket. Dusk.
Legs ache.
The sun goes down
stomach still
the way it
hurts.
has for every one of your ancestors.
Entire day of hard
and you
labor.
finally get to
In a
sit.
world that looked
your
at your body and
legs
called
ache,
it cursed,
your stomach
instead
still
of just
hurts.
normal.
You've bled through an entire sunrise to sunset day of hard labor with a scrap of linen and some swamp moss in a world that looked at your own body and called it cursed instead of just normal. Tomorrow, you do it again, and the day after that, for up to a week with the same rags. Next time your period slows you down for even a single afternoon, you reach for Advil, you lock a bathroom door, you unwrap a tampon that took less time to open than it took you to read this sentence. She didn't get any of that. She just had to survive it.